Welcome to the Karo Show channel. If all the soldiers of the world looked like this, then humanity would quickly forget about wars. When the army has such a deadly beauty as its main weapon, it is pointless to even start an armed conflict. Today we will show you the most beautiful and brave military women from all over the world. Enjoy watching. In the United States, girls have been in the military since 1976, and today there are approximately 75,000 women in the U.S. military, which is about 16% of the total armed forces. Enlistment is only during peacetime, and until 2013 there was a ban on the participation of girls in military action on the front lines. Now, girls enrolled in the U.S. Army and Navy can serve in artillery, infantry, and special forces. Moreover, even the requirements for passing the mandatory standards are the same here, although the old rules were abolished only recently. They used to be much simpler for women. The desire of girls to serve in the U.S. Army is understandable. The Army provides a profession, pays for training at any university in the country, provides employment, and gives the opportunity to test their stamina and willpower. By the way, in 2021, women in the U.S. Army are allowed to wear makeup and lipstick. Who do you think this girl looks like at first sight? Well, she looks like a real model, and that's right. This girl is the winner of the title of Miss Kansas 2013 and a participant in many beauty contests. But that doesn't stop her from also being a mechanic, a sergeant in the U.S. Army, and a supervisor in the medical unit of the Kansas Army National Guard. The girl is also a real professional in sports. She has excelled in archery, rifle shooting, skydiving, and boxing. And this beautiful representative of the American Army is named Lisa Murray, and she is from Oregon. She is a helicopter mechanic, but as you can see, she also knows how to shoot. She even took part in Operation Inherent Resolve, which has been conducted by the American Army in Iraq and Syria since 2014 until today. But in real life, Lisa is just an angel. Meet Haley, another charming officer of the U.S. Armed Forces, and in her TikTok, she shows not only that a woman can be different, but also that you can completely shoot dance challenges in the Army, in her spare time, of course. In Russia, military service is compulsory but only for males, but girls go into the Army of their own free will, and it seems quite willingly. In total, the country has almost 45,000 military women who serve in the Special Forces, Marines, Motorized Rifle Brigade, and even the Arctic Brigade. It is true that girls are not allowed directly on the battlefield. In Syria, for example, they act as military psychologists and doctors. It is funny that every year in Russia, there is also a special competition for military women. It's called camouflage makeup. And one of the disciplines you probably already guessed about. Girls compete in the art of applying makeup at speed, and also in culinary skills and of course in military disciplines like assembling a machine gun and shooting. Another women's military competition is the Beauty of the National Guard, and here are the models who take part in it. This is Anna Kramsova, who won the competition a few years ago. Both of her parents also serve in law enforcement agencies, so the daughter decided to continue the dynasty. In her free time, Anna is successfully engaged in bikini fitness and also maintains a large blog on Instagram. Israel. There is almost nowhere else like it in Israel. Here, military service is mandatory for all young people over 18. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. At the same time, girls serve 24 months, and men all 36, but everything is not as severe as it seems at first glance. Firstly, girls do not have to serve if they are already married at the time of the call. Secondly, they have the right to refuse it for ethical or religious reasons. But military service in Israel is a prestigious and very worthy job, so many girls themselves do not mind getting there. Moreover, gender equality in the service is perhaps one of the most convincing in the world. Not surprisingly, as a result, women make up almost a third of all soldiers in the Israeli army. Let's bet that if you met such girls in your life, you would never have guessed about their profession. It is difficult to imagine such beautiful girls in military uniform with a machine gun in their hands. But nevertheless, all this suits them incredibly. A serious service does not interfere with femininity. The size of the Chinese army is more than 1.5 million people, which makes it the largest in the world. About 4.5% or approximately 53,000 of the total number of military personnel are women. It is interesting that they are accepted exclusively on the basis of the strictest competition, because serving in the army is prestigious, and there are many who want to. An interesting fact is that until the middle of the 20th century, girls in the Chinese army could only work in the field of communications and healthcare. However, in 1952, female pilots appeared. Then in 1995, the Chinese army trained the first batch of female Marines. And in 2011, 16 girls passed the exam for piloting fighter jets. A year later, the woman became the first captain of the Chinese army, which was able to safely manage a huge ship weighing 14,000 tons. The girls in the Chinese army are not shy about being themselves. For example, they often dance to popular music in the army locker room and many other places. And of course, they don't forget to fly fighter jets and ride tanks between times. Of the more than 1 million Indian Army, 3% are women. Nevertheless, they are forbidden to occupy leadership positions and participate in operations. Girls play purely supporting roles. For example, they work in the field of military logistics and medicine. However, this does not stop many of them from voluntary service. For example, this girl won the National Indian Beauty Contest 4 years ago. And despite the fact that after such an event, the doors to the world of modeling, business, and television were open for her, the girl suddenly chose to serve for the good of her homeland. According to her, this is what she had always considered her true calling deep down in her heart. Belgium is one of the few countries in the world that still has a monarchy. Just look at this girl. Before you is young Elizabeth, Crown Princess of Belgium. In the future, she will become the first queen in the history of the country. Recently, it became known that the girl decided to enter the military academy, where she would study for several years. For these girls from the Belgian army, Princess Elizabeth is definitely a real role model. Just look how stunning the girls look in any situation, whether in uniform or in ordinary clothes. An interesting feature of military service in Norway is not only that women, like in Israel, are required to join the army by law. Women and men also live and sleep in the same barracks. This is almost a unique case. Usually such things in the army are completely unacceptable. Such a measure was introduced in the country not so long ago as an experiment. And so far, despite the doubts of many, it has shown excellent results. The commanders note that the soldiers have become more united and literally consider themselves to be one big family. Well, military girls in Norway also look no worse than the winners of the most prestigious beauty contests. Write in the comments which female army you like the most. Subscribe to the Caro Show channel and watch our previous videos. Goodbye.